This is OATM1 News. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your national television. First, the main headlines. Shaping a future of law, freedom of expression, the way to all over human rights, was the theme chosen for World Media Day celebrated on May 3rd. The journalists took opportunity to meet in Maison de la Presse in order to reflect on the press evolution in our country. The Minister of Justice for Human Rights and his colleague for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation took part in the 43rd session of the Working Group on the Universal Periodic Review in Geneva. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mali News.
The message was the reading of a particular decree, a particular regulation, inviting the Malian population to vote and to organize the referendum. And we just remember that initially this referendum was scheduled for the 19th of March. And later we announced that there will be a short delay. So after 3 months, of course, we are very pleased to announce that the new date for the referendum, now it will be the 18th of June. So maybe in 1 month and a few days. And it is very important after reading this regulation to recall all the Malian population that this is a unique occasion. We have to strengthen our national cohesion, in order to avoid again to put our country in trouble, as we noticed since 2012. So it's very important for us to come out from this bad situation, and of course for ourselves, for the next generation, and particularly for all the victims of insecurity in our country. Now actually we have a particular organ in our country, which name is a single body, in charge of organizing election. And I'm sure that based on the internal regulation, we will have the occasion maybe to give more details and more information to our population on how we are intending to organize with a referendum. But actually what I can say clearly that the President, Colonel Assimi Goïta himself, gave strong instruction to all the government to support age in order that all the mission of this organ and will be successful in all the domains, the security aspect, the financial and economic aspect, and of course the logistic aspect. The particular message I have, first of all, I would like to thank all the civil society actors actually involving in this exercise of explanation of the project of the Constitution. As I said, we do not have another chance to divide ourselves more. I think we have to really help each other in order to restore peace and security in our country.
World Media Freedom Day has been celebrated on May 3rd, 2023. The theme chosen for this 30th edition was Shaping a Future of Law, Freedom of Expression, the way to all over human rights. The journalists took opportunity to meet in Maison de la Presse in order to reflect on the press evolution in our country. Mamari Kone and Angel Dambele for Mali News.
May 3 was an opportunity for media to deal issues relating to freedom of the press and professional ethics. For this 30th edition, the theme chosen was Freedom of Speech, a springboard to all other human rights, a theme that sums up the fundamental role of the media in a world in full evolution. The chairperson of Malian Press House also denounced the ransacking of the house last February 2023 before challenging the government on what he calls unfair competition. For the representative of the Hirondelle Foundation, press freedom is far from being a favor accredited to Western media. It is also a universal right from which all the media must benefit. For him, these rights can be summed up in three words: freedom of speech, independence, and pluralism. On the eve of the electoral consultations, the representative of UNESCO in Mali, Edmond Munkala, the representative of UNESCO in Mali invites the media to accurately work by taking into account their jobs, values, and principles, and to be the voices and the pens which unite the people and embrace the democratic gains. The representative of the High Authority for Communication, for his part, recalled the media's duties to the authority before addressing freedom of speech. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Communication invited the Malian press to be more cohesive and cautious before announcing reforms in the media fields.
Debates were on the schedule to celebrate the World Media's Day. The lecture was held on May 3rd, 2023. Several generations of journalists representing various departments took part in the debate. Report Salmata Dao, translated by Gausu DIARRA.
What does it mean, freedom? Freedom is the power to act according to his own will. What does it mean, expression? Expression is the action to talk to someone by the speech or the gesture. Freedom speech is the main theme about the conference of the National Press Week. Again, freedom speech means the motto of all human rights. The conference was explained by Ahmed Cissé, a talented journalist. Ahmed Cissé has been founding a long experience about journalism for 3 decades. He was talking about the theme to Ahmed Cissé: when the citizens have a right to say what they think, to say what they believe in, and to provide information to other people. They have to look for good information for themselves before broadcasting. That means we are living in a good democracy. Freedom speech means also we have to know all information before making public. We have to make everything public in the name of people and in the name of governments. World has been celebrating freedom press for 50 years. We want to know about the advantage and the disadvantage about press. In 2020-22, Mali ranked 111th country on 150 countries about report without border. According to the president of the press house, our country has an old tradition about freedom expression. Our country really knows a difficult moment. We know multi-dimension crisis, and there is a misunderstanding between Mali and some of its partners. It is forbidden and unacceptable to insult when you are giving informations.
The editorial staff is also interested in the role of media in solving crises and the context requires. To do this, media professionals declare freedom and, above all, responsibility in the processing of information. With them, we also notice the thorny issue of regulating social media. Let's follow Tamsir Diabate's report, translated by Angèle Dambélé.
According to statistics from the High Communication Authority Act, Mali has nearly 500 radio stations, around 40 televisions, and more than 200 newspapers. According to interlocutors, freedom of speech is the basis of this act. Precisely, this freedom and responsibility requires a general mobilization, especially in a country at war, beyond the different points of views and the structural weakness of press houses. Media professionals have a positive view of the Malian press as a whole, and faced with the new transformation of the press, there is today a place for social media, but on condition that the field is in their control so that it is not a threat to the profession and a danger to society. The ILO Court of Commune 4 from Bamako districts, known today for having contributed to cleaning up social networks, said it was proud of the remarkable progress to meet the challenges and issues of the new transformation of the press as well as the management of information in times of crisis. A new social contract is needed.
The Minister of Justice for Human Rights and his colleague for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation took part in the 41st session of the Working Group on the Universal Periodic Review in Geneva. Malian Minister of Justice Mamadou Kassogue shared with a council member and observer states the progress made since the last review of Mali. He also recalled that his country remains ready to cooperate fully with all the special procedures, but caution to the impartial and objective nature of the report they produce within the framework of their mandate. Drisaka Dambele for English Time.
Malian government and its people share with other people of the world and pray for peace and justice. However, we regret and reject the variety of instrumentalization and politicization that some partners do. The government, in its desire to reform the state, continues to implement political and institutional reform in a transparent and inclusive way. The new constitution project was validated the 16th of March 2023 and presented 4 days later to vital forces of the nation by the head of state. Its popularization is ongoing as a prelude to the upcoming referendum in terms of restoring peace and strengthening national reconciliation. Despite current economic difficulties, Mali government continues to implement peace and national reconciliation agreements resulting from Alger process. About justice access, significant improvements are recorded. About the death penalty, the moratorium observed since 1980 continues, as no death penalty has been executed in Mali since that date. In the fight against impunity, significant measures have been taken against violations of human rights and international humanitarian rights. For women empowerment and gender equality, considerable efforts are made by the government. I take this opportunity on behalf of Malian government to greet the important efforts made by the international community to help my country. We remain open to any international partnership with principles which guide public action in Mali.
Colonel Malik Diaw, President of the National Transitional Council, met this week the Ambassador of Canada in Mali. Both discussed the strengthening of bilateral relations between the two countries. For more detail, follow part of François Lafrenière, Ambassador of Canada in Mali, speech given by Fatima Keita and translated by Angèle Dambele.
We have deeply discussed the role of CNC in the transition, and Canada is following with interest the current transition and all CNC work done to achieve this transition. Canada wished to support the transition and constitutional process in Mali. We have listened to our partners to find out the role we can play.
Opening this week of the first ordinary session of the High Council of Communities for the year 2023. During this meeting, which lasts 30 days, the national councillors will examine and give their opinion on a drafting project governing the life of a nation and proceed with the renewal of their bureau. The opening ceremony, led by the institution President Mamadou Satiki Diakité, also gave us CNT President Colonel Malik Diaw and several other personalities. A report, Soumela Berté, translated by Drissa Ka Dambele.
This first ordinary session of the Community's High Council for 2023 took place at the time when political and institutional reforms are ongoing. An institution which is at the heart of these reforms, and among many others. Through the immense challenges facing the country in transition, the President of Community's High Council identified the most urgent issues. Concerning the organization of general elections, the President of Community's High Council affirmed that conditions are being gradually and resolutely implemented, especially the establishment of age and the availability of the secure biometric card.
10 journalists from 8 French-speaking and English-speaking African countries selected by American diplomatic mission took part in the professional exchange program of the American State Department, intended to promote leadership. They went to discover the federal system and meet the American media working in the field of investigative journalism. Among these journalists, Sira Bachili, who represented ORTM, she gives us an update on the stage in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco. Her remarks are translated by Drisaka Dambele. Let's follow.
The United States of America's foreign policy with countries of the world. It's a diverse program with different actors from different sectors that is called IVLP. The U.S. State Department's main professional exchange program. 10 journalists from French and English-spoken Africa were selected by diplomats from U.S. missions in 8 countries to participate at the discovery of America. These major people visited 5 states. First stop, Washington, D.C., with a tourist visit to the African Museum. They visited the White House and our university. Meetings and exchanges with officials of some American media, such as NPR Radio. The 10 journalists went to appreciate the House of Representatives and Senate. They were able to go to the Specialist Center for the Press and the International Center for Journalists, where exchanges focused on investigative journalism. In San Francisco, California, the City Hall officials talked to them about the history of San Francisco, and then they went to the Media Alliance to discuss the balance in the treatment of investigative journalism.
A delegation from Economic, Social and Cultural Council, led by its president, Mr. Yakuba Katile, is staying in Canada. This trip is part of the Mission 2023 collection, which takes into account the expectation of Malians living abroad. Commentary done in French by Mohamed Sangare and translated by Gaussou Diarra.
The main preoccupations of the Malian diaspora in Ottawa and Montreal are about the inexistence of investment and difficulties related about the correction of NINA card, and some organizations must be implemented in order to make the integration and the comeback of diaspora easy. This constitutional mission allowed the President of Economic, Social and Cultural Council to know about the difficult situation that Malian diaspora in Canada is living.
The association CRI 2002, meeting in reflection and information for the consolidation of democracy called Sikikafo, was held this week. The discussion focused on the content of the new electoral law, the role and prerogatives of the Independent Electoral Management Authority, as well as the content of the new constitution. Bakary Koulibaly and Gaussou Diarra for English Time.
A CRI 2002 organized a meeting about dialogue last March in Bamako. After Bamako, CRI 2002 went to Kita in order to give information about national dialogue. CRI 2002 held a conference in Kita. The conference was about social dialogue. The meeting regroups the organizations of the civil society in order to talk about politics and electoral process. The president of CRI 2002 is talking. To him, the democracy is managed by the dialogue of Kati incites the people of Kati to play the role about the reconciliation and living together. This conference will concern young people, women, and old people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of Mali News, but stay with us for the lesson, a lesson prepared by our teacher Amadou Balde. Let's follow this lesson.
Hello everybody, welcome in your English class. Aujourd'hui dans notre classe, nous allons parler des verbes modaux, modal verbs. Les verbes modaux, c'est ce qu'on appelle aussi en français les verbes défectifs. Il y en a 9 en anglais. Nous avons can, nous avons could, nous avons must, nous avons may, nous avons might, nous avons would, nous avons shall, will et should. Avant de prendre quelques exemples avec ces verbes, nous allons d'abord parler de la particularité des verbes modaux. Les verbes modaux, en général, ne sont pas précédés du signe de l'infinitif to. Non. Vous ne gérez jamais to can ou to must. Les verbes modaux, à la troisième personne aussi, du singulier, ne prennent pas des. Non. On ne verra jamais he cans. No S. Pas de S. On ne verra jamais she must. Pas de S. Les verbes modaux sont donc le domaine des faits possibles, des faits souhaités, des faits probables ou même nécessaires. Et lorsqu'il s'agit de parler de ces verbes-là, nous voyons que can veut dire pouvoir. Can, comme dans l'exemple I can speak English or you can speak English. You can speak English. Could sert de passer de can en général. Ce n'est pas dans tous les cas, mais la plupart des temps, pour les situations qui sont permanentes. C'est dans l'exemple comme she could speak very well French. She could speak French very well. She could speak French very well. Elle savait très bien parler le français. Maintenant, nous l'utilisons aussi quand nous prenons comme must par exemple. Must, ça veut dire obligé, c'est l'obligation. Must. You must stand up for your right. Tu dois te lever et défendre tes droits. Nous prenons un autre verbe modal comme shall. Shall, c'est le signe du futur aussi, mais c'est pour faire une offre ou une proposition. On utilise shall. Par exemple, shall I help you set the table up? Dois-je t'aider à faire la table? Les verbes modaux s'utilisent aussi pour les requêtes polies. Et c'est là où may est très important, qui veut dire puis-je. Par exemple, pour donner l'autorisation et la permission, on peut prendre may I use your telephone, for example. May I use your telephone? Puis-je utiliser ton téléphone? Yes, you may. Et là, tu as la permission. Or no, you may not. Yes, you may. Or no, you may not. Supposons que vous vous retrouvez dans un restaurant chic à New York. Et une fois installé, les waiters vont vous amener des questions, mais ce sera en utilisant les verbes modaux. Comme exemple, would you like something to drink? Would you like something to drink? Voudrez-vous quelque chose à boire? Or, may I help you? Puis-je vous aider? Puis-je t'aider? Or, could I have a glass of orange juice? Est-ce que je peux avoir un verre d'orange juice? Les verbes modaux nous permettent aussi de parler de regrets ou même de reproches. Par exemple, on peut dire Ali could have become a doctor. Ali aurait pu être un docteur. Peut-être qu'il n'a pas étudié. You know? Et on peut l'utiliser aussi pour parler des reproches. On peut dire she should not have bought that dog. It has already attacked her. She should not have bought that dog. It has already attacked her. Elle aurait dû ne pas acheter ce chien parce que le chien l'a déjà attaqué. Les verbes modaux s'utilisent aussi comme helping verb, comme tous les verbes auxiliaires. Ce sont des verbes qui viennent et qui aident d'autres verbes dans leur conjugaison. Et qu'est-ce qu'on voit en ce moment? Que les verbes modaux, on l'utilise dans ce sens, ça devient I can go, or I must come, or we must do it. Les verbes modaux, en général, sont suivis de la base verbale du verbe. On ne dit jamais « I can't go » ou « I must to leave ». Non, ça ne se dit pas. C'est toujours la base verbale du verbe. On dit « I must go »,« I must come »,« she should tell ». Les verbes modaux sont d'une importance capitale. On les utilise pour donner des conseils, comme « You should not smoke ». You should not smoke. Tu ne dois pas fumer. Or, one should always tell the truth. Nous devrons toujours dire la vérité. Nous savons aussi que pour parler de l'obligation, nous utilisons must. Pour parler de l'interdiction, c'est must not. Par exemple, you must not smoke in front of the children. You must not smoke in front of the children. Tu ne dois pas fumer devant les enfants. You must not smoke in front of the people. Must not. Nous voyons donc que ces verbes-là sont des verbes auxiliaires, des helping verbs, qui sont là, qui aident d'autres verbes, mais qui font aussi leur interrogation et leur négation comme tous les autres verbes auxiliaires. Donc les verbes modaux, comme je l'ai bien dit, sont des verbes qui s'expriment dans le domaine de la probabilité, de la possibilité, de la nécessité, des souhaits, etc. Merci d'avoir été avec nous tout le long du cours. I see you next time. You must learn the modal verbs. Merci.
Thanks for watching us. We will be together next Saturday and Sunday, same time, same channel, ORTM 1. May God bless Mali. Goodbye.